We got some news to get into today, boys. That's right. We've got a ton of nerfs and things happening to Raid. Our first kill in the Race to World First, and I've already got the DPS metrics for Mythic Plus and Raid. That's right. We've already got enough people running this shit that we can start to look at how the DPS metrics are ranking out and how your class is looking for this season. Let's get into it. World First, Nexali has been killed. That's right, by Conquest. Yeah, not one of the names maybe that you know out there as a famous name. And this happens oftentimes early in the Race to World First, but this was the first boss that was killed. They went in there with an interesting group comp. We have a Blood DK and a Guardian Druid as your tanks. That's actually not surprising. Blood DKs, I mean, we're just eating pretty right now. 4 healers. They had a Preservation Evoker, Holy Paladin, Discipline Police, and Resto Shaman. For their DPS, they had 6 melee and 8 range. That was how it broke down. So a pretty balanced group, actually. It's not super heavy on range, a little bit more range than melee, which we see a lot of times. But overall, the group looked pretty good. A lot of, we got double Warlocks and double Hunters here, interestingly enough. So, yeah, good group, and they got it down. Now, will they win the race? Probably not. A lot of the big boys right now, they're focusing on just gearing out before they really start pumping through the Mythic kills. But this is officially the first kill in the Race to World First. Speaking of getting kills and bosses and raids and stuff like that, we're seeing nerfs already to many of the bosses in the raid, specifically on heroic difficulty. Heroic Vashnik is also seeing a nerf here. We're seeing him get nerfed in a way where you're noticing this is happening a lot. They're affecting less players with their abilities. This seems to be a common theme here in this raid this time around, where the bigger the group, the more the abilities just became kind of undoable. Or unsurvivable, I should say. Blizzard seems to have overtuned this raid a bit when it came to larger raid groups, and you're going to see a lot of nerfs coming in that have to do with kind of shrinking or mitigating the amount of damage going out based on the number of players that are actually being hit. So right now for this one, and you'll notice the change right here, it kind of gets into that. With today's hotfix, there's the exploding infection, okay? And this ability basically used to just infect 5 to 7 players, leading to explosive damage. Specifically would infect 3 different ways: the red, the orange, and the purple. The orange one is the problem. It's a set that has to be dispelled, and it deals damage to players when it is dispelled. So when you had a larger raid group with 7 people getting infected with this thing and the dispels going off, yeah, that was crazy raid damage going off. So now this has been nerfed basically to only affect 2 players at a time. Regardless of your raid group size and everything else, this should be a little bit easier. It only applies to 2 people, so when that thing actually gets debuffed, you're only getting hit with 2 explosions rather than 7 dicks to the face, which was what was happening before. Also, moving on, we got Heroic Ulatek nerfs happening here. Specifically, Ulatek, we're going to look at the patch notes. Yes, there's more class fixes and stuff, but you can read these patch notes if you want. Take a little screenshot here. Really, we'll get into what the raid changes are, because that's the important stuff here. So we see some fixes with a few issues with some of the mechanics and stuff, but really Ulatek's got the main attention here. So Blight Vein damage has been reduced on heroic difficulty for him. Grasping Fanes now targets only 3 players per side on heroic difficulty, no matter the group size. Again, it's the group size issues that were happening. Just the scaling on group sizes was really wrecking people. Volatile Purge area now of effect now scales with the raid size of normal and heroic difficulties. The effect of the raid's largest is a 10-player raid. Gradually decreasing the raid size increases, reaching its smallest size at a 30-player raid. So again, having to do with player sizes and how that all works. Resolving an issue causing the damage of Spectral Coils to unintentionally scale with non-mythic difficulties. Spectral Coils now requires 40% of the raid to reduce the damage in a minimum value. It used to be based on numbers of players, and which again makes it very hard with larger raids to get that many players to get in and actually reduce this damage. Spectral Coils adjusts now on heroic difficulty, so it's more consistent in terms of timing, and then they corrected some issues here happening. So again, more scaling shit happening with changes to heroic difficulty. We'll see how that affects people, but it overall should just make things easier for larger raids. Another little nerf here. If you've been doing Nightmare Prey difficulty stuff, good for you. You're getting into the Prey system and actually using that stuff. There's actually good rewards to be had from that right now, including some crests and stuff. But Toxic Snare evidently was a very toxic, what do you call it, a affix. So Toxic Snare basically would throw snares on you, and this thing would do a lot of damage. 90% slow effect and pumping out damage on you. Tons of damage to the point where basically if you didn't see this thing coming, it was going to probably kill you. Well, Blizzard actually nerfed the Toxic Snare. The slow reduction now is only 50% rather than 90%, and the damage that it commits has been reduced by 75%. So damage reduced by 75%, much better. This thing's not going to kill you as badly, and it's less annoying. That just sounds annoying as hell. A snare that reduces your speed by 90%. I don't know how people were dealing with that shit, but a good thing now that's been changed. Moving on to something else. The cracked keystone. We've seen this before, and players typically forget about this thing. Guys, the cracked keystone is a way to get a ton of crests that don't even count towards your crest cap for the week. The cracked keystone can be gotten from an end of chest for a Delve Tier 11 run. So completing a Delve Tier 11 run, you can get yourself the cracked keystone, which is an item that will begin this quest. What this quest essentially does is all it tells you to do is go complete a Mythic +2 or higher. So go do a Mythic Plus dungeon with a key. Once you do that, you will get yourself 20 Hero Dawn crests and 20 Myth Dawn crests that don't even count towards your crest cap. That's a big freaking boob. Did I just say a big boob? I don't know where my mind's going. That's a big boost to your crest cap for the week. You can basically go out and farm crests the normal way and then get these 20 that don't even count towards it. Obviously, 20 myth crests is awesome too. If you're going to craft a two-handed weapon or whatever this week, you're going to need a lot of crests. This is a good way to get some of them. And then just upgrading gear this week too. Obviously, really great to get all these crests. So this is a nice one to have. If you haven't gone and done a Delve Tier 11 clear yet, go ahead and do it. Try to get the cracked keystone and get this quest done. Moving on to Mythic Nymrissa. I think that's how you say her name. This is your world boss, right? It's your new layer world boss, I should say, which is basically like a single boss raid. Is it worth doing this week? Now that Mythic Flex is here, you have Mythic difficulty of this boss, and the answer is hell yes, guys. Get in there and get this thing done for a couple reasons, and it's not just the gear that drops from her that's really good right now. Killing her on Mythic Flex, which is a 15 to 25 player difficulty raid, will drop 318 item level Myth Track 1 of 6 gear. Yeah, Mythic gear from this thing. World boss has never been this good. You can get Myth Track gear. Now, that's not the only great thing about this. By the way, this loot is bind on pickup. You won't get any tier sets from this, but what you will get is another vault unlock. That's right. She counts towards your boss, your raid tier, basically, your raid row on your vault. So she can count towards those 2, 4, or 6 boss kill requirements. If you're stuck on a boss in raid, she can be the one that puts you over the top, and she's much easier than any of the raid bosses. This season's raid rewards from the Great Ball are significant, obviously. Killing anything on Heroic is going to give you Myth Track gear, and killing you anything on Mythic difficulty is going to give you Myth Track maxed out gear. So it's a big deal. Is it worth doing? The answer here in this article and from me, honestly, yes. Go do it this week. Get yourself Myth Track loot from her, and then get yourself another vault slot unlocked, which is really, really good this week. So yeah, definitely go do the world boss. Moving on to the classes that are doing great numbers right now. Guys, yep, we have already our first days of raid tracking happening and first days of Mythic Plus tracking happening. We have the official DPS charts coming in hot and fast, and we're going to look right now and who is currently leading. And guys, it looks like we're in the age of mages and rogues. That's right. So let's check out these charts first of all. 95th percentile, we're talking heroic raid only. Okay, heroic raid only, the top 10 parses, looking at how all these numbers are cracking out. And yes, you see something here. Arcane Mage, look at that. Arcane Mage sitting at the very top is the #1 class right now in heroic raid when it comes to pumping out some big dick DPS. Outlaw Rogue just behind them, followed by Devastation Evoker. Oh my god. Where did they come from? Devastation Evoker, usually getting devastated at the bottom of the map. No, they're up here now in the 3 spot. Elemental Shaman just behind them. Sub-Titty Rogue, Shadow Priest, Arms Warrior, Fire Mage, Balanced Druid, Devour Demon Hunter, Destro Warlock, Marksmanship Hunter, Assassination Road, and then Affliction Warlock, kind of Affliction Warlock, kind of rounding out your top half there. At the bottom, surprisingly enough, for raid damage, we got Frost DK, Augmentation Evoker, Demonology Warlock, Feral Druid, Windwalker Monk, and Unholy DK. These numbers kind of don't make sense. I mean, some of these classes down here, you would think we're going to be the very top. Unholy, Frost, Survival Hunter's also down here, Frost Mage. So, you know, maybe we'll take this with a grain of salt, right? I mean, some of this shit is is kind of new. Not enough people maybe running the raid, but right now, these are the numbers. This is what it's looking like. Now, we can look at overall damage percentiles. How's that looking? Well, Fire Mage is still at the very top. Subtitty at the just behind him. Arcane Mage now makes it into the top boys here because this is, again, overall damage. We got Shadow Priest, Elemental Shaman, Arms Warrior. So this kind of includes more or less not just freaking single target damage. So that kind of evens it out a little bit. Giving them a chance to shine after being in the dumpster. I guess so. I mean, yeah, seeing the, you talk about Devastation Evokers up there. Again, looking at these numbers, when we're talking overall damage, it's a general bracket. Mage at the top. We see all rogues at the top 10 as well, with Outlaw up there. The bottom seem to be the same as the top percentile, as things not looking as promising for Fire, DK, Demonology, Feral, and Windwalker Monk. So interestingly enough, yeah, some of these numbers are kind of surprising. Honestly, I wasn't expecting some of these classes to be where they currently are. Now, if we look at Mythic Plus, let's see how that changes things here. We have 95th percentile, Mythic Plus, looking at the DPS logs. How is this looking? We're talking about 95th percentile, I believe is top, what is it, keys 10 to 16, I think, if I'm not wrong. So let's check these out here. What does this look like? Devour, Demon Hunter. Yes, the Voidy Boys themselves sitting at the very top there, followed by, again, Rogues. I mean, Rogues are just doing really, really good right now. We saw them get a bunch of buffs leading into this patch, so this shouldn't be too surprising. All three Rogue specs sitting up here in the top 5. We have Subtitty Rogue in second place, followed by Arms Warrior there in the middle, and then Assassination Rogue and Outlaw Rogue. Devastation Evoker, again, making an appearance here as one of the top boys. So, I mean, Devastation finally getting out of the freaking gutter here. Marksmanship Hunter just behind them. Unholy DK. Then we got Balance and Feral Druid sitting right here next to each other. Elemental Shaman, Arcane Mage, Enhancement Shaman, and then Windwalker Monk rounding out your top boys here. At the very bottom, we see Fire Mage, Affliction Warlock, Survival Hunter, Beast Mastery Hunter, Destro Warlock, Augmentation Evoker, Fury Warrior, and Frost DK, and then Retribution Paladin just above them. Ret not doing really great on either side right now, interestingly enough. And we know the Ret Paladin community is going to lose their minds over this shit, so maybe we'll see some changes coming soon. But these charts are kind of surprising. Again, I'm not really surprised that Mage and Rogue are doing good. Kind of expected that. They did get, Rogue specifically got a lot of buffs, again, heading into this patch. I am kind of surprised where, like, the DKs are currently sitting. I was expecting Unholy and Frost to be higher up here. Devastation Evoker, definitely a surprise. Not used to seeing them near the very top, so that's kind of crazy. Yeah, Arms Warrior, look at them. Yeah, pumping big numbers. Actually, that was kind of predicted, though. Arms Warrior was kind of heading into this patch ready to pump their dicks off. So these are interesting numbers. We'll continue to look at them. These are probably the earliest numbers we've ever seen in a patch cycle, right? We're not even through the first week yet of the season, but still fun to look at. We'll see how this all plans out or pans out going forward. Obviously, I'll report to you guys when we finally have a full week of numbers, what that ended up looking like. Moving on to some other news here, just general WoW news in the WoW community. Project Camelot, which is Classic Plus, has shown up on the Chinese servers. Blizzard a long time ago said when Classic Plus does come out that it'll be enjoyed worldwide. So no surprise here that it looks like Classic Plus is already being prepped on the Chinese servers. I do think, again, this means that it's just another hint that we are getting the Classic Plus announcement at BlizzCon. I think that's a guarantee. There's no way they don't announce that shit there. So that's going to happen, and it looks like they're already preparing China to also get Classic Plus at the same time. And then finally, speaking of BlizzCon, we've got the Legends of BlizzCon reveal. These are the people who are going to be singing and doing shit at the Anaheim Convention Center, and it's a pretty good lineup, honestly. I don't know some of these guys. I don't know if I've become a boomer over the years. I don't keep up with music enough, I guess. I don't know some of them. I do know T-Pain. That's my boy, and Deadmau5, of course. But we got Simu Liu, T-Pain, Yasabi, I don't know who the hell these people are, Lay Sephirim, I don't know, shit, Deadmau5, I do know him, Duke Dennis, and Cleo Thomas. So there you go. That's your lineup right here. They got a cool little picture kind of Uther, the Lightbringer's friend list, and we can see these guys on here. So some of the, I don't know if all these guys are singers, some of them are just other celebrities, but that's kind of your lineup here going forward. So this should be fun. I think, hey, Cleo Thomas, isn't he the guy from Holes, the movie? Yeah, so some of these guys aren't singers. Some of these guys are just celebrities and stuff. But yeah, boomer you are. I know, right? So this is kind of the lineup for BlizzCon going forward. Interesting. And we'll see what happens with BlizzCon. I think it's going to be an exciting event, obviously. Last Titan news coming for sure. How Midnight's going to wrap up, that'll probably happen there too. and then Classic Plus for all the Classic Andes out there. We'll keep addressing everything as it comes out with Raid and the Race to World First and DPS rankings and everything else. But for today, that is all in terms of news.